Okay, I think it's working. Hey, everybody. Welcome to my house. If you were an Austin friend, I would say just come over and sit down. Let's have a cup of coffee, and I would love to have the chance to tell you my story about why Rodan Fields. Why would I say yes to this, and what is it like, and what do I do? But since we have a virtual platform, which is so cool, thank you, Internet, I get to tell you my story all around the world to my friends and family that aren't here in Austin with me, whom I can't invite over and have a cup of coffee together. So thank you for coming. I am very excited to tell you about the journey that I've been on for the past year and a half with this company and weave in the facts about our company along with it. So you can have, at the end of this half an hour, I'm hoping that you're gonna have a really good idea about what Rodan Fields is and why I hope you take a serious consideration into thinking about joining this company and getting on this speed train of a market disruptor company. So I will say that my story starts with, I'm not super keen on sales. And that was probably one of the big things in the beginning that I thought, I wouldn't have approached this and sought it out. Let's put it that way. And probably most of you guys are the same way. You hear somebody say, oh, have you heard of Rodan Fields? You know, it's social networking. And you're like, look, no, direct sales. It freaks us all out, all of us. I don't think there's anyone who grew up as a little girl going, oh, someday I want to be in direct sales. And guess what? I also didn't have a particular passion for dermatology. So here we go, and here we are. Let me rewind to the beginning of my RF story and tell you that it started with a game of I Spy here at home with my 3 sons. At the time that I joined this company, we were homeschooling our kids, and they were in kinder, 1st, and 3rd grade. And on our homeschool days, we would take a big old break in the middle of the day to clear our minds and to just kind of pause on the schoolwork and go sit and have lunch together. And one of the things we did just to kind of have fun and goof around together was I Spy. And one day, Evan, bless his heart, it was his turn, and he spied something red. And we're all looking around, and he's giving us clues. He's bringing us closer and closer in from the room to the table. And guys, I didn't serve ketchup with lunch, and there were no like pimento anything. I'm thinking, what is this kid seeing that's red? Anyway, we all kind of got fed up, and he was tired of waiting, and he's like, guys, talking to his brothers, guys, it's all over Mom's forehead. It's those red dots. And I was like, oh no, he didn't. Which, yes, he did. Kids are brutally honest like that. And I guess I love them for it too, because the innocence of a child, right? Not to know you're not supposed to call your mom's acne out. So my skin story is that I had started breaking out after I had Andrew. I don't know if it was like a hormone thing or something. My face got wonky. I thought you're supposed to be done with your acne when you're a teenager, but no. I had adult acne, and like cystic acne at that. Those big ones that wouldn't go away. Wouldn't help that I would pick at them. I know, gross, sorry, TMI. But then you end up with like the scar after the fact. So that's also a problem you got to deal with. But I kind of let that slide. You know, you're a mom with little kids, you got a million things going on. And really, I was just hoping that that next bottle of something I was finding at like Sephora was just really going to knock it out. And nothing really did the trick. And I was too busy to really care. I was just going on with my life. But Evan called it out. And that kind of re-entered my mind. Okay, yeah, I guess I could really do something for that skin, or wish I had something for that skin. So here we go. That's my skincare side of this. On the other hand, Dan and I had been having conversations on our date nights about maybe something that I could do from home to earn a little extra income to help pay for our kids' private school tuition, because we were doing a hybrid private school homeschool thing. And I'd been a barista in college. I thought maybe I could do that, sling some caffeine, but I don't really want to have to clock in and out somewhere, and I didn't want to have to promise my time elsewhere, because most of us are seriously busy, and the thing we're lacking is time, right? So I didn't have a lot of time to go somewhere else and work. Do you know what I'm saying? So we've been kind of brainstorming ideas, not really coming up with anything that was awesome, in my opinion, or his really. We're just kind of, you know, we were brainstorming and thinking about what we were going to do to help offset the cost of private school tuition for the following year. So enter Rodan Fields. I'm on Facebook one day, and you know what we scroll, and I see my girlfriend Nancy, and it's a post about winning a trip to some work trip, or not winning, like achieving, earning a trip to Napa. And my friend Nancy is a friend of mine from church, and we'd done Bible study together. Now, we weren't like best friends, we were acquaintances, but I knew she had 3 little boys that were like 3 and under. She was at church on a weekday, so she probably wasn't doing like a 9 to 5. And anyway, that FOMO, the fear of missing out, which I would like to claim, I think that I started that. At least it's been seeded in me since the beginning of time. I hate missing out on anything. Just kind of deep. Claire, what is she doing? What is she doing? She's going to Napa? You always want to go to Napa. What's she doing? So, of course, I messaged her. And I was like, hey, Nancy, it's Claire. Why are you going to Napa? Will you take me with you? And she was like, okay, I'll tell you about it. Yeah, it's this business that I do on the side. Can I take you to lunch and tell you about it? Sure. So in the meantime, between seeing her Napa post and going to lunch, what do? We Facebook stalk. So I clicked on Nancy's profile and I'm scrolling around. I'm seeing these before and afters. And Rodan and Fields is a mouthful. Like, I had kind of heard it, never pronounced correctly, but I really didn't have a good idea of what it was. And I remember seeing on one of the posts, it's the Proactive Doctor's newest line of premium skincare. And I was like, did they say Proactive? Because everyone I knew in high school used Proactive. And if I'm not mistaken, Proactive is still a big thing. Yes, it is. So I go into lunch with Nancy. I love her, but I was already kind of like walking into lunch like this, you know what I mean? Thinking like, Claire, whatever she says, you're not doing it. This is direct sales. You don't like direct sales. We get those little chitter chatters in our head of like, not me. Maybe it's fine for you. That's so sweet. Bless your heart. Not for me. So I listened to my friend because I like her and she's shy. And the fact that she was able to do this and make something of it enough to get a trip to Napa out of it and be shy and busy with 3 little kids, I decided to let her bend my ear. And by the end of our lunch, I had learned a lot about this company that I hadn't known before. And it was enough to have a seed planted. And what I didn't tell her at the time is that, yeah, please don't stare at that zit that I popped this morning on my forehead. And yeah, I am actually looking for a way to earn like a couple hundred extra a month would be really great for our budget. That would give us like a little more stretch room. Not to mention the back of my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to travel. So went home, talked to Dan, thought, I'm just going to get the skincare. I need Unblemished. That's the line for the anti-target of I Spy regimen. And I talked to Dan about it. And I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience where you just hear something and you can't shake it. And you just feel like, you'll know. Because after hearing my story, if you start getting this feeling, you're going to know. But I got this little seed that took root and I started imagining. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I could do this from home. It's the Proactive Doctors. I need new skincare. Wonder how many of my friends need new skincare. Oh my gosh, I don't have to keep inventory. It's all online. Okay, so it's like Amazon, but it's skincare. So you see where this is going, right? My wheels were turning. I'm doing my little home research because I'm very thorough and I wanted to know like everything I could find out about it. And talked to Dan about it. Of course, Dan was a big heck no because he was like me. He did not have good feelings about direct sales. And I think that enough of us have had kind of uncomfortable social situations with direct sales that is something that most people have to get over and understand the difference about Rodan and Fields in order to leap that hurdle and say, okay, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to explain where we're different too. So Dan said yes. And I told Nancy, hey, this is what I need to do. I'm completely teachable. I know nothing about this. Clearly, I have not figured out the skincare world. And I want to use the products. I want you to just shape me. And I want that trip to Napa. So I jumped in head first. Did not know what I was getting into, but I was really excited about that. And if you can't tell already, I'm a pretty excited type person. And I don't mind a challenge. I will tell you something that I found along the way is that this business calls out your fears, like loud and clear calls out your fears. And one of them is definitely doing something like this, like a live video for you guys. But it's kind of been a really fun challenge because if you decide to hit that challenge and work through it or find a way over, under, around it, you're going to grow. And that's something about myself that I kind of shelved. Before I was staying home teaching the boys, I got to work at a brand new budding skin cosmetics company in Austin, and I loved it. I still love it, but it was a seedling business and that we started from the ground up. And I saw, and I was there for all the blood, sweat, and tears that go into starting something from scratch. And there was something in me that it feels good to accomplish something. There was a little part of me, that same part of accomplishment, that was shelved when I moved into the world of changing diapers and making sandwiches without high fives. And if any of you guys are mamas, then there's a little bit of a lack of high fives and accolades that come from the kiddos. And so I saw pretty quickly that Rodan Fields was going to scratch that itch if I just put my head down and did what the leaders told me to do. So I did dig in, and I started doing the things that scared me, which is social media. Hello, social media. And basically inviting my network into my world, which is what we do on social media. I'm saying, come on in. This is me. Take it or leave it. I don't have it all together. It's messy sometimes. These are our conflicts. This is our story. And I am definitely a transparent person. So that part wasn't super hard to kind of tell you all about my life. But I also knew that if I was going to enter the public forum of social networking, that I was going to just be me. And because it's take it or leave it. This is who I am. And I'm going to incorporate Rodan Fields into my life, right? So started growing a team, started learning and training. And I will tell you here that I'm on Dream Team. We are Dream Team, and it is the fastest growing team in this company. And there are so many, and it's kind of like moving into a neighborhood and getting really excited about the house you bought, and then realizing later that you moved into the coolest neighborhood with the best neighbors, and you have a neighborhood pool, and there's all these community activities, and your neighbors bring you brownies on a Friday night. And anyway, that's Dream Team. I moved into the Dream Team neighborhood where everyone is encouraging, training together, lifting each other up. We do things hand in hand. It's new for all of us. So everyone is learning how to become a leader together, because you can only get so far in this company by selling skincare. So if you want to keep it small fry, I did come in with, what would you call it, dream inhibitions. I didn't want to give myself free license at first to go, what do I really think I want to do with this? I came in thinking, private school tuition, maybe a travel fund. Okay, so that's fine. I was still going to do whatever they told me to do. But when we moved past that pretty quickly, and I had friends who were going, yeah, Claire, I need skincare, but actually I need an income. So how does it work again? What do I need to do? Okay, I'm just using the products. My skin changes. I'm telling my friends about it. I hadn't really cued into the fact that more of my friends actually needed a business and a source of income more than they needed better skincare. So that was fun. And then I started going, oh, okay, I wouldn't have ever considered that she would want this business. So who else had I written off who might actually be hurting for some extra income, or wanting an outlet to have social time with friends, or looking for another thing to put into the toolkit of the things that we can do well, because there's been a lot of things I've gotten to learn how to do better that I wasn't doing in my day-to-day life that I feel like is affecting my whole life in a good way. So anyway, we started growing our team, and I would say the rest is history, but that's not. Where we are now is there's this thing where the momentum starts once you've said yes, and once you've said, okay, I want in, I want to understand how this works. I want to believe in this company. I want to know about these doctors. And I'll tell you, the more you dig, the more you are I don't know, what do the kids say? What do all these cool kids say? Mind blown or something. But these doctors are two of the top dermatologists in the world. They are still practicing dermatologists in San Francisco. Their wait time is 2.5 years. And they don't need this. Remember Proactive? Yeah, it's in 120 countries, and it owns 83% of the global acne market. Okay, so these doctors have it made in the shade, right? So what happened with them? They had people who were coming into their derm office still going, hey, you fixed my skin when I was an acne teenager. Now what about these dark marks? What about these wrinkles? What about all the fine lines or my giant pores? And so the doctors saw that there was a kind of a gap in the market. You can go to your dermatologist's office and get different serums and stuff and specialty dermatological grade brands that will address that stuff. But the doctors are like, okay, there's this need for better skincare and addressing more concerns. In fact, we address the 4 main skincare concerns that everybody has. And then with Proactive, they did this crazy thing which was going on infomercials, and everyone told them they were nuts. It was never going to work. They were never going to go anywhere with it. In fact, Neutrogena turned them down to partner with them when they were going to do proactive on infomercials. Crazy. Imagine if you were Neutrogena back then. And so they just said, hey, the world is changing. People are going online. Social networking is kind of the way of business in the future. And y'all, we are leading the pack on this trend. But think about it. You are already talking about things you love all the time. I know for me, if I love something, I'm going to tell everybody about it. And I don't know if you guys have seen any of my posts about it, but I have certain bed sheets. I will never buy a different brand of bed sheets. I have saran wrap. Okay, the Costco saran wrap, for those of y'all who don't live in the United States and you don't have Costco, I'm so sorry, because it's the best saran wrap you're ever going to have. But I am loyal, if nothing else. And so what happens when you find the best skincare on the market? P.S. We are the #1 selling premium skincare. Actually, we're #1 over all types. Stuff you can get at Walgreens, stuff you can get at Neiman's. We are the #1 selling brand in the United States. As of like, they just announced that it was from last year. So yay! / it works. What happens when you find something you love? Well, you're gonna talk about it anyway. We do it all the time. I recommend my favorite restaurants, movies I liked or didn't like, products, but we just don't get paid for it. But that's all social networking is. And if you think you're not in sales, you're wrong. Have you ever had to convince somebody of something or share information? That's sales. So my job to you in being a part of Rodan Fields is to just educate and answer your questions. That's it. So if that makes me a salesperson, this big old scary sales thing that I was afraid of, then I guess I'm a salesperson. But guess what? So are you. So using the products, loving the products. The doctors see that people are going to talk about stuff they love anyway. In fact, before we were in direct sales, we were in the high-end department stores. And when they did a market survey to find out how people were learning about their products, because they were deciding how to spend their marketing dollars. This was like 9 years ago. The survey showed that people were buying the products because of a recommendation of a friend. And that is when they pulled out of those high-end department stores and said, oh, no, 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 we're doing this completely different. And they put the products in the hands of the people who were selling it anyway. The girlfriends who were telling girlfriends, who were telling their sisters, who were telling, you know what I'm saying? Hence, this is born, right? Rodan Fields through direct sales. So I'm digging and learning about these doctors, right? I'm also digging in and learning about what it takes to grow a business that can create residual income. Y'all, our products are not only the best skincare on the market, but they are a consumable product, which means, okay, you're gonna use it, your skin's gonna feel and look great, and then you're gonna run out of it, which means you're gonna need to buy more of it. And y'all, this is a legacy line. Yes, we address sensitivity and acne and dark marks, but you're gonna end up in Redefine, which is the anti-aging line. You're gonna use that forevermore until you don't have skin anymore, which is, you know, you'll use it until you don't need skincare anymore. So as I've had customers, I realize like they become loyal because all these friends of mine who are using the products and loving them keep buying them. Guys, that's called residual income. That's called earning money while you sleep, because eventually you're growing a team of friends who decided they need a little extra income too. And they're talking about the products, and they have friends who not only need better skincare, but could also let skincare pay them, like the idea of that. And so now you're growing a team of people talking about products that work and sharing them with their communities. And that, my friends, is called residual income. So that is where I did kind of let myself get a little bit dreamy, because I'm seeing people on my team who are growing exponentially, and it's because they just said yes to the leaders. Now, y'all, these aren't like super social guys. I would say probably I'm one of the most like bubbly social of us. These are like accountants, really quiet, shy people, teachers. Okay, teachers are good at talking. All kinds of professionals, realtors. I'm trying to think about my event planners. I'm just trying to think about on my team alone. I got some gals from oil and gas. You guys, it doesn't take a certain kind of person to do this well. It takes someone who's willing to learn something new. And I'm just ordinary. I'm not special. I was just like, okay, let's try it. Let's see how it goes. But here, a 1.5 years in, I am seeing that residual income, and I am seeing that growth that happens from saying yes to an opportunity that is exploding with or without me. And the truth is, as we move out into the markets, people are hearing about it more and more, and people who heard about it maybe once before are like, okay, what's this Rodan Fields thing? Okay, maybe I'm ready to give it a shot. But y'all, there are still people I talk to all the time who've never even heard of Rodan Fields. So right now we have 10% of the dollars in the United States that were spent on skincare were spent with Rodan Fields, but we are the #1 skincare company. I'm twisting this up. I got too many thoughts in my head. We are the #1 skincare brand in the United States. So think of right there that spread and all the potential that has yet to happen. Not to mention, we are in Canada now, and we're about to be in Australia also, and the doctors have a 10-year plan of all these countries that they're going to open up in year after year for the next 10 years. So there is like all kinds of plans coming out. Okay, so before I wrap up and tell you that you need to call me and we need to talk details, I want to also say that the beauty of this is that your life is busy. My life is busy. That's kind of what life does to you, right? It fills your plate. But why this is so much fun is that I can squeeze it in around the things I'm doing. I can go to a field trip in the morning and be done in time to pick my kids up from school. I can do the things that my life is asking of me, and I haven't had to go somewhere and clock in and out and take away from my family. But instead, I am working this in the margins of my life and creating that travel budget. Y'all, you know that travel budget? I got to take us on a trip to California last year. And that travel budget is growing, and it's going to be a budget for all these other things that are coming up that Dan and I were thinking, we didn't think we'd be able to do that. And so sometimes it takes a little bit of success to let yourself dream again. And the last thing I was going to say about that is, you know that book, Oh, the Places You'll Go? It's Dr. Seuss, that's what it's called. So one of my favorite aunts gave me that for my high school graduation. And you know that starry-eyed kid who was like, man, sky's the limit. What am I going to do in this lifetime? I will tell you something. A lot of us as adults think that we're getting to be realists and that we're squelching a lot of our big dreams. But one of mine has always been to travel. And now I have these 3 little humans that I want to show them the world. And why couldn't we? With Rodan Fields, I'm realizing that is not going to be a no for them. That's going to be a yes. That's going to be a hell yes. Let's go, guys. I want to show you the world. Okay, wow, that came out of the blue. Sorry. But what is it that you stopped dreaming about? What is that dream of yours that you maybe said, oh, that's not even realistic? Would you consider the fact that maybe saying yes to this chance could give you that dream? I know it sounds crazy, and sometimes some of our leaders say they kind of dumb down some of the actual what their family's able to do because it seems unbelievable. But the truth is, this is happening. It is a big and growing company. Dream Team is the fastest growing team in the company because of the positivity and the training and the way we lift each other up. And I would love to share this with you. And if it is a friend that invited you to see this video, then I hope you get back to them and get your questions answered, because I'm sure there's a lot I didn't cover here, but just know that we are here to hold your hand, and we run side by side at this thing together. And the only way any leaders on this team achieve success is by training and lifting others up. And if that's not a beautiful business model, I don't know what is. But I'm so thankful for your time today. Please ask questions. I'm sure I left a whole ton out. I was sitting here parched. I brought my coffee. I was gonna have like coffee time with you guys, and I just got going. And if you haven't started using the skincare yet, you should try the skincare. It's phenomenal. It's not even that expensive. I think people have this idea that it's like a super expensive skincare line. It's not. Each regimen is formulated to last at least 60 days. Mostly it's usually 90 days. And the skincare will change your skin. And if you don't love it, we have a money back guarantee. So there's no reason not to try it. So that's a whole nother training. I could tell you all about the different skincare. Love it. But I want you to think about the business, because hey, you're going to get the best discount on the skincare anyway, and you'll be the vessel to get these products out to your community. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day. Happy Thursday.